What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is wAFF, and this is my review for episode 6 of the Book of Bobba Fett. Wow. This episode is just amazing. Amazing. I honestly have come out of this episode with a massive smile on my face. It was just from the start, literally from the start to the very finish. It's just a very magical episode. This episode's got so much magic in it. It really feels to me exactly what Star Wars should feel like for the most part of this episode. I mean, to be honest, the whole thing for me is just brilliant. But, yeah, wow. I mean, let's just get into it. So with this episode, I actually expected us to go back to Boba Fett's story, but we don't. We actually continue Mando's story, which I am totally down for. It is just a little bit strange that we're not focusing on Boba Fett. I feel like this episode, I feel like this series of Boba Fett is kind of split now. Now I kind of feel like, okay, they've written Boba Fett story, they've kind of given him his arc, they've given him his, a good portion of this series to focus on him, but it feels almost like it's a Mandalorian series as well now it feels like they're doing both at the same time, which I actually think is great. I'm really happy with it. I did say in one of my previous videos about Boba Fett, I don't have that much expectations about Boba Fett because I was never really into him as a character growing up. He was just a side character to me. I understand why people love him, and I understand what presence he has in the movies and in the whole Star Wars lore. I get it, and I understand he's supposed to be a badass, and people are frustrated that he's not being a badass right now, and I can see why. But for me, I don't have any expectations with Boba, so the fact that we're now getting a lot to do with Mando is great for me. I love it. So for me, I'm really happy with just how the series is playing out so far. So anyway, back to what happens. The opening of this episode, we have Cobb Vanth, who is the sheriff that we got to meet in Mandalorian, who was wearing Boba Fett's armor at the time. Obviously, he doesn't have it no more. And he finds these Pikes who are trying to deal spice, or not deal it, but they're doing something with spice. And he catches them. He doesn't really understand what's in this box that the Pikes have, which obviously is spice, we find out, but Cobb Vanth doesn't know at this point, and he gives them a warning that, they can leave right now, or he's going to basically shoot them and kill them all. And they don't listen, they turn around, they try and shoot him. Cobb Vanth manages to take out 3 of them, leaving 1 alive. He tells him to go on his way, otherwise he's going to obviously die. But with that, he tells the Pike to leave this crate, this chest, which is full of spice. Cobb Vanth doesn't know what's in the chest, and the Pike tells him, well, this chest, what's in there is worth more than your whole town. And Cobb Vanth is like, well, maybe I'll retire then. Anyway, the Pike leaves, and Cobb Vanth goes over to the chest. And to my surprise, he opens it, realizes that it's spice. He knows what it's worth by seeing this, because spice is so important, and it's such an expensive thing within the Star Wars world that I was surprised that he actually just kicks it over and kicks all the spice out, and the wind just takes it away. That was interesting. Maybe it's just because the spice is just so dangerous to keep on you. Like, the responsibility of, being in possession of that much spice must just be really dangerous. And we find out later on that the town, they've changed the name to Freetown, I think, because they just want to be away from all the violence and crime that they've been experiencing in the past. So maybe he just doesn't want to bring any of this danger into the town, and maybe that's why he kicked it away. I don't know. That's just what I kind of got from that at the end of this episode. Anyway, straight after that, we go back to Mando, who's flying the sickest starship ever. I love it. The Naboo N1 Starfighter, and it just looks so badass. I just love the sound of it, how fast it is. It is like the perfect vehicle for Mando. I think it's so cool. And just the design of it is just such a sick starship. I just really do like it. Anyway, Mando is on his mission to find Grogu. And I kind of realized that we were going to see Grogu shortly, because when Mando flies down onto this planet, I don't know the name of the planet. I'm sure you guys who are bigger Star Wars fans than me will know the name of the planet, but I could just tell by how green it was and how beautiful the mountains were and this planet looked when Mando flies further down into the planet. I could just feel okay, I feel like we're going to get Grogu here, because it was all green. Everything felt really nice and beautiful. And I was like, okay, we're going to actually see Grogu, which means we're probably going to see Luke. And literally with that thought, we see Mando land, and who's there? R2-D2. And I just knew straight away, my reaction to that was, R2, it's R2. Oh, we're gonna see Luke. That was pretty much my reaction. Well, it wasn't as stupid as that, but that's pretty much how I reacted when I realized, oh shit, we're gonna actually see Luke Skywalker and Grogu, and he's probably training Grogu. And I don't know, I knew that we would see this at some point, but not so soon, especially in a Boba Fett series. I thought that this would be like one of the main things that happens in the Mandalorian Season 3, but we've got it here. And wow, like this whole thing that happens next was just, I just found it amazing, like absolutely amazing. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I'm gonna talk about it because I'm reviewing it. Stupid. So Mando's asking R2 if he can take him to go see Grogu. R2 does a few little beeps and then he turns around and like goes in one direction. Mando follows him and then weirdly arrives at this sort of like little hill with all these weird androids, I think they're called. And this was a little bit strange because I don't know why, but Star Wars is obviously filled with so many different like characters and droids, and that, you know, there's infinite amount of like unique looking characters or environments or whatever. So I don't know why I found this really weird, but I just found it a bit weird with all these androids. I don't know, it just felt like that looks a bit weird, but I mean, I don't know why. But anyway, we've got all these androids and they're building this like little stone house, and I instantly thought, I originally thought, hang on a minute, is this the same planet where we see Luke in The Last Jedi? Because all like the little houses that Luke lives in on this mountain, they're all built by these big stones. So I was like, hang on a minute, are we there? But I don't think we are. Well, I would say that we're not, because it's a different location altogether. But I did then start to go, hang on a minute, these look like the buildings where Luke was training Kylo. And I think we got some flashbacks of that within the Rise of Skywalker. I just started to recognize them anyway, and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm starting to understand what's going on with these ants and what they're doing. And yeah, they basically are building these little houses, and we find out that that's going to be the Jedi school for Luke to train Grogu, which was just so cool. It was also quite funny because R2 just shut off completely, like he powered down. I don't know why he did that, but maybe he was just, I don't know, that's just what R2 does. I don't remember R2 doing that in Star Wars before. I feel like that was the first time I've seen it, but I could be completely wrong. But anyway, it was quite funny when the androids came over and just made Mando a bench and just basically just sit there and wait. So Mando is sitting there, he's waiting for Luke and Grogu, and then all of a sudden, we suddenly see Grogu and he's meditating with Luke Skywalker, and this was very impressive, just how good Luke looked. Since we got to see Luke Skywalker at the end of Season 2 of Mandalorian, which was by far one of the most amazing, magical moments I think I've ever witnessed in film and TV history. For me, it was just a very, very special moment. And Luke looked amazing then, but there was a lot of people complaining and wasn't happy with how the deepfake was of Luke. And then Disney had hired that guy from YouTube, I think he's YouTube guy who was doing deepfakes, and he was doing better deepfakes than what Disney were doing, and he did it of Luke Skywalker, and they actually hired him and brought him in. So I knew at this point, I was like, okay, we're going to see like a more upgraded version of this deepfake for Luke, and I was hoping that, and they definitely have. Like, this looked amazing. Luke Skywalker, not only was it good, amazing to see him just meditating with Grogu, like already it was just like, as if we're getting this is so cool, but he actually looked really, really, really good. Like the deep fake, especially in this moment, there were some dodgy moments that I'll mention in a moment, but this moment where we see Luke for the first time under the tree meditating with Grogu, the deep fake was brilliant, like really, really good. And the voice, I don't know how they're doing it. How are they getting the voice to be the same? I don't know. Is it someone who's impersonating him? I don't think that this is Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker in this, because his body's too young and too thin. Mark Hamill hasn't got that body, so I'm sure they got a stunt guy who maybe did the first stunt double of Luke Skywalker. But the voice is so spot on as well. They've just done such a good job of Luke Skywalker here. So anyway, Luke Skywalker is meditating with Grogu, and they're levitating all these frogs. Grogu gets one of them, and Luke's like, nah, meditate and basically watch this. And he pulls up all these frogs and shows Grogu, like, you know, you're more powerful than that. You don't need to just do one. You can do all of it. And it was just a really cool moment to see how powerful Luke is. But he's also kind of going like, you're better than this. You can do this. And Grogu's obviously so happy and amazed that all these frogs are floating about. It's just a really cool, cute moment. And I really, really did enjoy it. And I have to say, it was just so cool to see Grogu again. I just love Grogu. He's such a sick little character. What a brilliant, like, creation of Star Wars. I just think it's just a perfect thing to bring into Star Wars, like, lore and just the whole story going forward and just what we've had. He's such a sick character to focus on, and yeah, I was just so happy to see him. And then we got a really, really cool moment where Luke is walking Grogu through the forest, but because Grogu's so small, he can't keep up with Luke Skywalker's just normal walking, so Luke just keeps picking him up and floating him and pushing him ahead, and then just keeps walking alongside of him. I love that. It was just a cool little touch. I just liked how that was written into it, and it was just a cool little moment just to see how them two would walk through the forest together and how they talk and spend time together, and Luke's just literally picking him up and moving him along. I thought that was really, really cool. And then we've got like a moment where Luke says to Grogu that he can actually help him remember his past. And Grogu's a little bit unsure at first, but obviously he's allowing Luke to do it. Luke places his hand on Grogu's head. And then we have a flashback of Order 66 where Grogu is sat behind, well, he's like in his little space cot thing that he was in when Mando found him. I think he's in that anyway. And yeah, he's just watching these Jedi just get taken out and executed by the stormtroopers. And this was like a really, really cool moment because I'm not sure, you guys can let me know, but there was a focus on one of the Jedis who fell on their lightsaber. When they died, the actual camera looked and focused on whose lightsaber it was. Like there was a point of it, like to see that lightsaber. I don't know if that's someone's lightsaber that we know. I feel like it must be because they wouldn't just focus on that particular lightsaber if not. So I'm not sure, and I'm not clued up enough about the Star Wars like history and lore and backstory to know if that is someone, but I definitely felt like it is. So I would love to know if you guys have watched this. Let me know down in the comments, because yeah, I definitely feel like it must be someone in particular. But then this leaves us to speculate as to what happened next. I'm sure we might find out through the next sort of scenes with flashbacks. Maybe Luke still gives him more help to remember, and we get some more flashbacks, and it sort of like brings us up to date as to how Grogu came from there to Mando finding him and like what happened in between, who rescued him. Yeah, that's just an interesting thing that we hopefully will see. I'm sure we will. So already at this point, this is like 20 minutes into the episode, and I'm already like, this is just so good. This is just so good. I'm getting so much out of this episode. Like, we're getting Luke, we're getting Grogu, we're getting Luke meditating with Grogu and sort of training him, which he trains him even more, which I'm going to go into. But already at this point, we're just getting so much Mando. It just, everything about this episode so far is just so good. And then we get Ahsoka. Ahsoka's there. And it was just like, oh my god, another thing thrown in there. I was just so happy with it. Mando's still waiting around on this bench. He's actually probably trying to sleep. And he panics and he wakes up and he gets his blaster out and realizes that it's Ahsoka. Doesn't realize that it's her. And them two go off and have a little chat because Mando really, really wants to see Grogu. And Ahsoka is just basically telling him that he can't really see Grogu because Grogu is now a Padawan and he's trained to become a Jedi. And to be a Jedi, you have to like detach yourself from loved ones. You can't attach yourself to people you love. It's just, you cannot be a Jedi and do that. It's just part of being a Jedi. You just can't have these attachments. So Ahsoka's basically saying to Mando, look, you can see him, but are you doing this for you or are you doing it for Grogu? Because if you do go see him, it's going to make all this so much more difficult, and Grogu's choices and his development to become a Jedi way more difficult. So like, really, you just best off just leaving it, and I can take this little gift that you have to Grogu for you. And this is like a really, really special moment I felt, because Mando is just such an amazing character that not only is he such a badass like Mandalorian, but he's also a really emotional and heartfelt character too. There's a lot of depth to him, and you really feel in this moment just how much he loves and misses Grogu. And the music is just incredible. Like, I'm going to talk about this even more in a second, because the music is just so good in this episode. It's very like beautiful and magical and like emotional. The music in this episode is very emotional, and whoever's scored this has just done an amazing job. And yeah, this moment, I actually did get a little bit emotional myself because I was like, fuck, he really, really misses him and he loves Grogu. And just the bond that these two have together, I just think it's a very special thing and it's been written very, very well. Anyway, Mando does the right thing and he leaves this little gift that he's got for Grogu with Ahsoka. And he goes on his way, gets in his ship, and he flies off. And then we get another amazing scene of Luke training Grogu, and he's trying to get Grogu to do, like, to jump high, to do all these jumps, and Grogu doesn't really know how to do it. He doesn't understand it. So then Luke introduces this blaster droid. I think they're called blaster droids. I probably got that wrong, but anyway, he brings out one of them blaster droids, and gets it to sort of shoot this little laser out Grogu. Grogu gets hit by it nearly, I think, and just jumps out of the way. And Luke's like, Grogu, get up. Always get up. And this is like at the beginning of such a really, really cool scene where we get to see Grogu learn how to dodge all these lasers from the droid. And it kind of cuts forward a little bit. Obviously, Grogu's had a bit more training, and Grogu's doing somersaults and flips over the lake onto all these rocks, and he's managing to get away from all these lasers. It's such a cool moment. The music's amazing. Luke stood there at the side of this river just watching Grogu, and it was just like, this is brilliant. And also, before I forget, that scene where Luke puts Grogu into his backpack and straps him up and runs through the forest and starts doing flips and climbing up all these bamboo shoots was just an amazing moment because it was a throwback. It was clearly a throwback to when Yoda was training Luke and they were doing that together. And he had the same harness on with Yoda in his back. Like, I just love that. It was just such a cool thing. Like, I just love the fact we're getting Luke Skywalker now into the new Star Wars. It's just like so good because I felt like we were never going to get that because it's obviously Mark Hamill's so old, and now they've got this technology of deepfake, which they've done such a sick job with. I'm so happy that we're getting this. It's just such a special thing if you're a Star Wars fan to now have Luke Skywalker, and not only that, he's training Grogu, who is like one of the most beloved characters now in Star Wars. So yeah, I'm just blown away constantly by this episode. Then finally we get to see Boba. We finally get to see him again, which was quite funny. I was like, oh yeah, shit, this is actually about Boba Fett. I forgot about that. And then he stood around this sort of hologram, and he's talking with Fennec, and there we have Black Chrysanthemum. We have all the characters that I can't remember all the names, but we have the Power Ranger guys, which they just stood out to me as like, they just stand out like a sore thumb. Like, I don't feel like they fit at all. We've spoken about that before. I think everyone agrees. It's a bit of a shame, really, because I don't know. I feel a bit like they could have maybe worked, but because of them stupid coloured Vespa bikes and they just don't fit into Star Wars, really. Maybe they do if they weren't introduced that way, and maybe if they weren't on Tatooine, then maybe they would like seem a lot more fitted to the world of Star Wars. But yeah, for me, as soon as I was in this moment and I was seeing Boba Fett, he's now got his own syndicate, and you've got all these different sick characters who look like Star Wars characters, and then them cyberpunk kids, I was like, they just don't fit this at all. And it's the only thing I didn't like. Din Djarin, Mando has arrived at Boba Fett's palace. And now they're looking for new foot soldiers because even though they've got Boba, they've got Black Chrysanthemum, 3 of the syndicates have laid low and they don't want to intervene with anything. So they're just allowing the Pikes to basically come in and do what they want to do. So Fennec has explained that they need some more foot soldiers, and then Mando says, well, he might know some people, and he goes off to that town where the sheriff is in Tatooine to have basically to ask him for a favor to see if he can like round up some people to help join Boba Fett's syndicate to go against the Pikes. Cobb Vanth is a little bit unsure about this. He doesn't want to get involved because he doesn't want any more danger. Like I said before, they changed the town's name to Freetown. Even the bartender in this like bar, that he doesn't even want to be involved. They just want to stay out of crime and violence. They just want to have like an easy time. They're already saying that they're having a hard time. It's already difficult and they just don't want to get involved. But Mando's like, look, please, I actually need this as a favor. And Cobb Vanth is like, okay, I'll see what I can do. Which then leads us to a very, very, very exciting part of the episode that I did not expect. Cobb Vanth walks outside, and in the distance he sees someone walking from the desert, and you can't make out who it is. It's just like a blurry silhouette walking towards him. I knew at this point they're going to reveal someone. I just knew it, but I didn't know who at all. So I was in my head thinking, who could this be? Like, who is in Star Wars that actually looks like a cowboy as well? And I'm not going to lie, this character who got revealed, I know this character, I recognize him, but I am not familiar with him. I didn't know his name. I've had to look this up, but this reveal was brilliant, because as soon as I seen this character's mouth, I was like, that is someone. So this character who gets revealed is Cad Bane, and he's from the Clone Wars. That's where I remember him. I just couldn't remember his name. And this was just such a sick reveal. I just love it. I love the fact they're including him now. I love the fact that they're bringing these characters from the comics, from the Clone Wars, the different animated series, and just like they're bringing it all into live action. I just think it's brilliant. And I have to say, Cad Bane looks amazing. Like, I was so impressed. I was like, oh my god, they've absolutely smashed that. He looks literally like how he looks. No, he actually looks just like the character from Clone Wars. Obviously it is him, but they've just nailed it. Like the makeup, the teeth, the eyes, just his whole outfit. He's just a badass. He looks so good. And this standoff that he has with Cobb Vanth and the other sheriff guy, whoever he is, I knew at this point it's not going to go down well. I just knew it. I could just tell. And it doesn't. Cad Bane then obviously shoots Cobb Vanth and the other guy. He straight up kills the other guy, but he only shoots Cobb once, so he's obviously not dead. I don't think they're going to kill him off, and they would have made more of a point if he was dead rather than just one shot and then like 20 on the other guy. So Cad Bane is just like, look, like you guys, you have two options. You either just leave the Pikes alone and let them just do their thing with spies. Otherwise, you're going to bring all the danger to you guys. You're going to all basically be killed if you don't leave us alone. So this was like a really cool moment. And just know we're going to get some really cool stuff going forward with Cad Bane. I just can't wait to see more of him. He just looks so good. So the end of this episode was just amazing. I loved how it ended. Just having Luke Skywalker and being with Grogu just to end the episode was great. But just what happens was very interesting. And wow, just the fact we got to see Yoda's lightsaber and how Luke shows Grogu Yoda's lightsaber and tells Grogu, look, this is yours if you want it, and this used to belong to my master Yoda. This is yours, but you need to choose between this and the gift that Mando gives to Grogu, which we find is chainmail made from Beskar, and Mando's obviously giving this to Grogu for his own protection, for his own armor, which is just so cute. And Luke lays both of them down in front of him and says, look, you need to make a choice. The armor will create attachment to Din Djarin, and if you do that you can't no longer be a Jedi, because Jedis can't have that attachment. You can't connect. You can't have that emotion. You need to let go of it. Or you choose the lightsaber and I train you to become like a really powerful Jedi. The choice is yours. And it ends with Grogu just sort of left like, what do I do? And it just ends. And what a brilliant way to end it. It's got me so looking forward to the next episode. I really wanted to see it then. I have no idea what Grogu's going to do. I can't, because I believe he's going to go for the lightsaber. I just think he is, because I feel like the show is building Grogu up to become a really powerful Jedi. But then at the same time, the story of Mandalorian is Grogu and Mando's relationship and bond together. So maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't, and maybe somewhere down the line he manages to get a second chance to become a Jedi. Because Mandalorian Season 3 is going to start at some point, and obviously we can continue it with just Mando, Din, but then obviously Grogu is such a huge part of the story. I can't imagine that they're going to go, right, Grogu's now trained to be a Jedi, Mando will never see him again, and that's it. It's just two different storylines, and it just focuses on Mando. So maybe Grogu does choose the armor. I don't think he will, but like I really don't know. I really cannot. I can't make my mind up on this right now. But either way, both choices are fitted for an amazing storyline. However it plays out, they're both really cool storylines, and I don't know what I want to see most. I definitely want to see. I think I would say I want to see Grogu become a powerful Jedi, definitely. But then I just don't know what that means for his relationship with Mando. Anyways, but wow, what an episode, guys. I absolutely love this. This is brilliant for me. This is proper Star Wars stuff. It felt like Star Wars. The music was amazing. The story was amazing. The reveals were unbelievable. Luke Skywalker looks phenomenal. Cad Bane looks so good. The deepfake got a little bit weird with Luke Skywalker at one point, but like I don't really care. Like it's a deepfake. At least we're getting actually Mark Hamill's face, and it's not some other actor, which I would be fine with as well. But we're actually getting Luke Skywalker. So and Mark Hamill's face, which is brilliant, and it looks amazing. So I don't mind if it looks a little bit weird at times, but wow, just the whole episode, Ahsoka, just every single thing that happens in this episode was just brilliant, and I would give this episode a 10 out of 10. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please hit the like button. That would be amazing for me. Let me know down below in the comments, what did you guys think? I really want to know what you think about this episode. It's just blew me away, so I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Please let me know down below. If you haven't already and you want to stay updated with my content, please hit the subscribe button. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on wAFFwORLD. Yeah?
Fucking min episode, that.
Innit?
Absolutely min. Loads of shit.
What?
Loads of shit.
I know, mate. How good is it?
Cad Bane turns up, the fucking other bounty hunter that's in
Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loads of shit kicking off there, and then it just left on a cliffhanger. Does he choose Yoda's lightsaber?
Yoda's lightsaber, mate. Yoda's lightsaber. And Grogu has to choose whether he wants to be a Mando or a fucking Jedi.
Yeah. So I was like, fucking hell. What's he gonna do? He's hopping around and falling asleep on rocks and shit. I was absolutely quality. I was like...